DOL.STUDIO presents Sourcing Smart and Green Products and People Globally. We're sharing recent local news and business insights in green and blue economy. Listen, like, share, and connect with us. Greetings, my name is Doll. I'm a precision machinist with over 15 years experience in robotics and AI automation, specialized in sustainable manufacturing and climate solutions. I coach women through technical and vocational education and skills training to become highly qualified personnel in STEM. DOL.STUDIO presents Sourcing Smart and Green Products and People Globally. The Ontario News Weekly Wrap-Up, Year 23, Week 9. Information from the Open Government Newsroom, courtesy of King's Printer for Ontario, 2023. News release: Governments of Canada and Ontario invest over $61 million to bring high-speed internet access to more than 16,000 homes in Ontario. All Canadians need reliable and affordable high-speed internet, no matter where they live. The governments of Canada and Ontario are taking action to bring high-speed internet access to unserved and underserved communities. On March 3, 2023, the governments of Canada and Ontario announced over $61 million in combined federal and provincial funding for Bell Canada, the Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre, and Kiiwetinoong Okimakanak to bring high-speed internet access to more than 16,000 homes in rural Ontario. Court Bulletin: Workplace injury results in $75,000 fine for Ottawa area siding contracting company. Convicted: 2418819 Ontario Inc., operating as Spartan Weather Guard Exteriors, 7151 Gallagher Road, North Gower, Ontario, an exterior siding contractor. Backgrounder: Correctional Services staff joined the front line across Ontario. The Ontario government is pleased to announce the hiring of 119 new correctional officers assigned to the following correctional facilities. 2 officers will be assigned to the Algoma Treatment Center. 11 officers will be assigned to the Central East Correctional Center. 9 officers will be assigned to the Central North Correction Center. 12 officers will be assigned to the Elgin Middlesex Detention Center. 1 officer will be assigned to the Fort Frances Jail. 6 officers will be assigned to the Hamilton Wentworth Detention Center. 4 officers will be assigned to the Kenora Jail. 14 officers will be assigned to the Maplehurst Correction Complex. 7 officers will be assigned to the Monteith Correctional Complex. 4 officers will be assigned to the Niagara Correctional Complex. 5 officers will be assigned to the Ottawa Carleton Detention Center. 4 officers will be assigned to the Quint Detention Center. 3 officers will be assigned to the Sudbury Jail. 9 officers will be assigned to the Thunder Bay Correctional Center. 21 officers will be assigned to the Toronto South Detention Center. 7 officers will be assigned to the Vanier Center for Women. Bulletin: Ontario protecting public safety during forest fires. The Ontario government is safeguarding the safety of provincial fire rangers and the public by enforcing emergency area orders during active forest fires. News release: Ontario breaks ground on new long-term care home in Huron County. Construction is underway at the Southbridge Goderich, a new long-term care home in the county of Huron. This is part of the government's $6.4 billion commitment to build more than 30,000 new beds by 2028 and 28,000 upgraded long-term care beds across the province. News release: Ontario expanding cancer coverage for firefighters. The Ontario government is working for workers by expanding cancer coverage for firefighters. These changes will make it faster and easier for these heroes and their families to access the compensation and supports they deserve for thyroid and pancreatic cancers from the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board, WSIB. Bulletin: Affordable housing is top priority for provinces and territories, looking to federal government for meaningful engagement and investment. Issued through the chair of the Provincial Territorial Forum on Housing, Minister responsible for Saskatchewan Housing Corporation, Jean Makowski, on behalf of all provincial territorial ministers responsible for housing. News release: Ontario building a stronger mining sector. The Ontario government has introduced legislation to amend the Mining Act that will, if passed, attract more investment in the province's mining sector, while strengthening the Made in Ontario critical mineral supply chains for batteries, electric vehicles, telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, and other advanced manufacturing technologies. News release: Ontario putting public colleges and universities on stable footing now and in the future. The Ontario government is creating a blue ribbon panel of experts to provide advice and recommendations for keeping the post-secondary education sector financially stable and focused on providing the best student experience possible. News release: Governments of Canada and Ontario invest over $48 million to bring high-speed internet access to more than 3,800 homes in Ontario. All Canadians need reliable and affordable high-speed internet, no matter where they live. The governments of Canada and Ontario are taking action to bring high-speed internet access to unserved and underserved communities. On March 2nd, 2023, Paul Chiang, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing and Diversity and Inclusion, and Tony Van Bynen, Member of Parliament for Newmarket Aurora, on behalf of the Honourable Goody Hutchins, Minister for Rural Economic Development, along with Amarjo Santu, Parliamentary Assistant to Ontario's Minister of Infrastructure, on behalf of the Honourable Kinga Sarma MPP, Ontario's Minister of Infrastructure, and Don Gallagher Murphy, Member of Provincial Parliament for Newmarket Aurora, announced more than $48 million in combined funding for YorkNet to bring high-speed internet access to over 3,800 homes in Ontario communities. News release: governments reach landmark agreement to strengthen Ontario's agri-food sector. Farmers and the province's wider agri-food sector will benefit from an upcoming new 5-year agreement between the governments of Canada and Ontario. The agreement will provide a range of investments that will help improve productivity, competitiveness, and resilience in this key area of the economy and enable the province to meet goals outlined in Ontario's Grow Ontario strategy. News release: Canada and Ontario increasing access to high-speed internet service in Oxford County. The governments of Canada and Ontario are investing more than $3.4 million to bring reliable high-speed internet to more than 1,040 families, farms, and businesses in Oxford County. Bulletin: Ontario investing in critical infrastructure. The Ontario government is investing more than $159 billion over the next decade to support infrastructure including transit, highways, schools, hospitals, and long-term care projects. To build many of them, the government is leveraging Infrastructure Ontario's Public-Private Partnership P3 delivery model and other innovative approaches to help strengthen communities and support economic growth. IO's latest market update, released today, lists 38 major infrastructure projects with an estimated value of $35 billion in design and construction costs. News release: Ontario and Quebec launching joint call for Francophone projects. The Ontario and Quebec governments are strengthening the Francophonie, its language, and cultures by supporting projects that promote economic prosperity, education, and skills development. Applications for funding are being accepted under the Cooperation and Exchange Agreement between the Government of Quebec and the Government of Ontario with respect to the Francophonie. Bulletin: Canada and Ontario open over 70 new affordable homes in London. Today, Peter Fragiskatos, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of National Revenue and Member of Parliament for London North Centre, on behalf of the Honourable Ahmed Hussein, Minister of Housing and Diversity and Inclusion, alongside Ariel Kayabaga, Member of Parliament for London West, Matt Feldberg, Director of Municipal Housing Development, Housing Development Corporation London, and Jeffrey Niven, CEO of Indwell, celebrated the opening of Embassy Commons, which will provide 72 housing units for people living with disabilities and mental health issues. News release: Ontario protecting the health and safety of paramedics. The Ontario government is working for workers by establishing a Paramedic Services Committee under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, OHSA, to develop resources that address the unique health and safety risks these frontline heroes face. News release: Ontario opening new courthouse in Toronto. The Ontario government is opening a new courthouse in Toronto as part of its plan to modernize and improve access to the justice system. The fully accessible, state-of-the-art courthouse will bring 6 Ontario Court of Justice (OCJ) criminal courts under one roof, including specialty courts such as those for drug treatment, youth, and mental health. News release: Ontario reducing red tape, saving taxpayers money, and boosting economic growth. Today, Ontario introduced the Reducing Inefficiencies Act, Infrastructure Statute Law Amendments 2023, that, if passed, will enhance fiscal management, cut red tape, and save taxpayers' dollars. The proposed legislation would allow the province to improve the management of real estate and bring efficiency changes to the environmental assessment process. Show some love with a like and share. Connect with us at DOL.STUDIO on social media. We want to hear from you. Subscribe for more local news, business insights, investment trends, and infrastructure developments. This podcast was sponsored by #WithLove Inc. community organization. All things done, #WithLove. Sourcing smart and green products and people globally.